Dear Gibson, can we please fix this injustice? Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. This is Halestorm, a band with incredible taste in guitar, and Lizzy, who fronts the band, has a fantastic roster of signature guitars. Her first signature with Gibson was back in 2014, and it looked like this. Outside of the golden pickguard and metal toppers on our pickup rings, it's essentially an Explorer custom, but built by Gibson USA, that also had a sweet matching headstock with pearloid tip tuners. These were an incredibly popular limited edition, and for many people, it was the first time they were introduced, but for others, they just loved it because, again, Explorer custom on a budget with a rosewood fretboard. They were so popular, in 2018 they did another one with her. This time we saw it in an all ebony finish with primary black binding, which just gave this a very cool look, even if you already owned an Explorer custom. And then you also had the golden fret wire. You get the fun tuners again, this time with black tips. However, being made in 2018, it's the birth of the Richlight era, and these were cool, but unfortunately birthed during a time when Gibson's QC was at an all-time low. So to find one from the factory that was truly perfect was a little bit tricky. But then, like clockwork, 4 years later, we get this, the Explorer bird. Ultimately, one of her least popular models, simply because I think it strayed too far from what made those other two popular. It did have the cool golden color dot inlays, but it utilized Gibson's least marketable headstock, in my opinion, the non-reverse Firebird. However, at the same time, maybe we're not being fair to this one because it has stayed in production ever since its introduction. And in fact, in December of 2023, she got another signature guitar within another brand that Gibson does, Kramer. Now this one was very out there. They called this a Voyager, and that is just a super crazy sparkly finish. You've got these lightning bolt inlays. It's a Floyd Rose equipped one, single humbucker, volume. Then moving up the headstock, it's all the same there, just with your new branding. But part of the reason why I'm so salty about the Explorer bird is we passed over this beautiful, magnificent thing. This was her BARITONE Goldtop Explorer that I've been so excited about and so many other people have been waiting for, and it just never happened. She still actively uses it in her performance. I'm not sure how many exist, but come on, Gibson, we need more baritones. They've been giving us more 25.5-inch scale lengths. It's not that much more. We just need at least 27, maybe 28. Because believe it or not, there actually is a run of baritone Explorers out there, but they're so hard to find, and when they do pop up, they're expensive. Same thing's true with the Les Paul. You've got the Buckethead Signature, which is one of the most iconic baritones out of Gibson's literature. They also had a 28-inch one in a Honey Sunburst, as well as a Platinum edition. But again, these things never show up on the market. I mean, I understand from a manufacturing standpoint of how it might be difficult, but they've done it before in small limited batch runs. We need to fix this injustice. We need more baritone Gibsons. And I think Lizzy is the perfect opportunity for Gibson to usher in a new era of the Gibson baritone. And what's great about the Explorer shape is it pulls off the long neck a little bit better than some other guitars. Because that's something that Gibson needs to take into account. The reason why the Buckethead Les Paul doesn't look freaky is the body's bigger. If we're not going to do another run of these, can we at least have oversized baritone Les Pauls? I don't even care if they're locked in the custom shop and way too expensive. At least then we have an option. But that's my rant today. I really, really, really want to see this guitar get released. So much so that I'm pretty sure I've made this video before, but I just didn't want to talk about this guitar today. I wanted to talk about this one. Are we finally going to move her into the custom shop? Please tell me this does not end up just being a one-off, because if this is a limited edition of like 100 guitars, Gibson, you have a $10,000 monster on your hands. Look at this thing. Super ultra in-your-face sparkly pink everywhere. But pay extra special attention to your binding. It has abalone purfling along it. And for those of you unfamiliar, it'd be similar to this Les Paul Ultima, where along the edge of the binding, you also have that shell material that changes colors and dances in the light, very similar to what you already find on fretboards and everything else. And then from there, we've got the golden hardware, looks like golden speed knobs, maybe even a metal switch tip. But now pay extra special attention to our fretboard. Yes, it's bound, it's ebony, and it's the Super 400 block inlays. Very fancy. Pay extra special attention to the center stripe of every other one. It's done up in abalone versus mother of pearl. So that's why it looks like there's a color difference. That is intentional. Then going up to our headstock, it's bound this time, just like some of the prototypes of her previous runs. But we do actually have the Lizzy Hale signature truss rod cover on here, which gives me hope that maybe eventually we'll see this. But this photo helps show off that pickguard a bit better. I thought it was white in that last one. No, of course not. It's her regular reflective one. Here it is at another concert, shining in another beautiful way. Matches perfectly with her rose. Now if you're curious what the back would look like, I'm getting all these photos from the Halestorm official Instagram page, so please go check them out if you want to see more. But it looks like it's just super sparkly pink. We didn't go too crazy with the tuner tips like on previous ones. And I don't think this would be on the back of the custom shop release. That might have just been a one-off tape-on job. Lizzy was named the first female ambassador for Gibson. Now that's just when they started to name ambassadors, and I think 2018 was the first with Slash. But I just really hope they haven't given up on her for Gibson signature guitars after the Explorer Bird, because I'm dying for more cool limited edition Explorers. We're starved as Explorer lovers. Les Pauls have a million options, but here's what we've got as an Explorer. 80s Explorer in ebony, which wasn't made to the specs we were hoping for, and it's only available in black because the whites will just never restock. We used to be able to get this, but it's discontinued. So our current option is just the 70s Explorer, which has binding, which not everybody wants on their Explorer. I'd like to see these things get completely revamped. If we're going to call it a 70s Explorer, let's really make it like they were in the 70s, rather than some modified limited edition version of it, because we need the pickup covers. We need the golden hardware. This isn't right at all. It doesn't look the same. When I think 70s Explorer, I think this. You can have a chunky neck from the limited edition series or the slimmer one. You gotta give it the uncomfortable tuners. Their headstock is just a slightly different shape. There's something so majestic looking about these. And I think a lot of it comes down to how they've rounded over the edges. Now don't get me wrong, these are good guitars. We've reviewed them. It's just not the same. Outside of that, we've got the Explorer Bird, and then you have to jump to the custom shop. They took our affordable mahogany Explorers and replaced them with the twice as expensive Carinas. But to be fair, at least we have the Explorer Custom at $5,800, which is still mahogany, but not everybody wants the binding and the ebony finish. I love Explorers. There's just nothing on the market that really speaks to me that's readily available. So it's hard to suggest anything from brand new. The 2010s era was a golden peak period of artist limited edition Explorers. I don't want to go too far into those because there's other topics I want to talk about tonight besides of her golden Explorer. But look at this thing, a crisp white double neck matching headstock. This is basically her first Explorer, but turned on to an EDS-1275. Check out the knobs, they've been bedazzled. High performance style. And then of course you've got her signature style pickguard. That's going to be that reflective material, the metal toppers on top of your pickup rings. But whoa, that's unique. Have you guys ever noticed that? She's got the lower positioning of the tailpiece for the 12-string side. Well, at least the traditional 12-string. Hold the phone, Lizzy, what have you done here? It's a double sixer. Is one baritone and one is... Oh my goodness. Yep, let's do this too, Gibson. We haven't seen something like that before. In the modern era anyways, so I guess that explains why this tailpiece is a little bit further down, which was the point I was trying to make. But it's not just Lizzy that's got the cool guitars. Look at this Explorer Custom. We had actually documented one very similar to this out of the mod collection. I think mine had a red back, so I was always curious if this was that guitar, but no, it appears to be something he got. And at first glance, you might think, hey, Explorer Bird, it's red. But oh, there's the real headstock. No. That is a vintage E2 with a brass nut. You know, the version that has the extra contours to it and is a layered sandwich body. I love those things. You typically only find them in the natural finish, but there were also solid colored ones as well as transparents. So it's a maple top, and then you get your walnut laminations in between maple and another one. But the red just makes that look incredibly cool. I would love to see them reissue the E2 as a signature limited edition. Let's go through this video together, see if we see anything cool. We've got a pretty sweet green SG over here. There's the good old baritone. I think that was the sparkly pink. There's the Kramer. Oh, I'm glad I paused here. Baritone SG, which was a canceled Buckethead signature, apparently. Looks like we might have the Sergio Vallon or something similarly modified. That was a black ES-335. In this photo, to match his green Explorer, we've got a regular Explorer. That's a good way to see the difference between the regular Explorer style and the custom, and why it's so needed to have the regular mahogany version back. Here's a better look at that green SG. That has a really yellowed amber coat to it. Wonder if that's Murphy Lab or just naturally aged. Then, of course, we've got a regular Carina Explorer over here with a Rickenbacker bass in the background. But then I ran across this. I'm not the biggest fan of red guitars, so maybe that's why I just didn't really like the Explorer Bird that much. But did you know there were actually two alternate versions, a white and a golden one? This was a collaboration with Z2 Comics, where these were supposed to be hand-painted designs. So I would imagine Gibson finished them and then the artist did their thing. I suppose at the same time it could be a wrap, I'm not sure. I don't know a lot about this company, but I always love this phenomenon. Have a picture of your guitar on your guitar. But anyways, what I'm trying to get at here is I think white looks really good, and I'm actually a big fan of that gold, because you gotta remember those inlays are also gold, and then to have that matching golden headstock. But I'm sorry, this is how all the cases should have been. That is hot. Red hot. With the golden piping, then the Lizzy Hale branding right there with her signature. Make 100 of each color, but make sure they have this case. So get to the social medias. Blast the message, Gibson, we want more Lizzy Hale signature guitars because she knows how to design them and make some cool stuff. And Gibson, make baritones again. Pretty please.